Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hopefully this show finds you in good spirits. We got some breaking news. Verdict is in on the Vallow Daybell case, and I know a lot of y'all want to know what's going on with that, and so we are going to watch it as a family. Verdict allegedly is going to be coming to us in about 25 minutes from now. So I wanted to get on here early enough so that we could chop it up, talk, check out some of this footage, because there are some people who are covering things surrounding this verdict, getting prepped, getting ready for this verdict right now as we speak. And I figured, let's just do a little quick watch party on this particular case. I told you guys if the verdict comes out, I'd be on this. And then, of course, I will say this. The next few hours are kind of busy because as soon as the verdict is made, we are pretty much about an hour or so, depending on how long it takes them to get to the actual verdict. I have an exclusive interview with Crystal Strong, the survivor, one of the survivors from Jesse McFadden. I have an exclusive live interview with her right here at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you guys haven't seen that already, okay? From my understanding, with this particular case, there will not be a sentencing today. There will just be a update on if she is guilty or not. Just the verdict, guys. So I'm very, very excited to finally get this information out here. This is, of course, a trial that has been a verdict that has been a long time coming. I'm sure that we've all been very excited about this, wanting to know exactly what's going on here. Okay, so please do me a favor, guys. All right, some housekeeping for this one and the next show. Okay, I'm going to remind you again, have an exclusive interview with one of the survivors, one of Jesse McFadden's survivors. I know they've been saying victims, but survivors, okay? Crystal Strong. I have an exclusive interview with her at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is only a few hours from now, okay? So a little over than an hour and a half from now. So be sure to tune in to that one. I think if you've been following this whole tragedy that's been happening in Henrietta, you do not want to miss this exclusive interview, because we are going to officially clear the air on a lot of the questions that you guys have had via social media and all that, okay? So just a quick commercial on that, okay, as we wait for this verdict. Now, housekeeping. Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, send it past 300 likes. I see a bunch of y'all starting to file in. We all have been wanting to know what the heck is going on with this one. It just wasn't streamed like that, not on camera at least, but we at least are going to see the verdict on camera, which is great news. So hit that like button down below. Helps the story, helps the show get out there, helps this feed get out there. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, baby. Hit it, crush it, make it scream out your name. That would really, really mean a lot. Okay, let us get into some things. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? All right, now, today is a very interesting day because we have Lori Vallow, who is looking at 2 counts of first-degree M, 3 counts of conspiracy in the demise, or in the demise, or in the deaths, as well as grand theft for collecting government benefits on behalf of her children after they were gone. Okay? Now, that's a lot of charges. So we're going to be hearing quite a bit of those. We're going to be finding out if she's been found guilty on all or on some of these particular charges. For me, let's be real. 2 counts of first-degree M, 3 counts of conspiracy in the deaths, as well as grand theft. I mean, that's a lot. Okay. She tried to scoop up a bag off the demise of her own children. Okay. That's pretty messed up, guys. Then on top of it, let's not forget 2 counts of first-degree M. Now, we know that they were found in the backyard of their property. And of course, all the evidence that has been piling up has been showing proof positive, in my personal opinion, that Lori Vallow definitely had her hand in taking the lives of these 2 young kids, Tylee and JJ. Okay. This is very, very sad stuff, guys. All because of falling in love with the storm. I'll try to explain the storm a little bit later. Okay. But we all know about the storm if you've been following this. Okay. That's what Chad likes to call his little purple-headed yogurt slinger. Okay? That's what he likes to call it. That's his nickname. So we got a lot that has been going on. It sucks because within this whole story, within this whole thing, they have only been streaming audio of this trial. It hasn't been streaming at all. Like, as far as, you know, when we were watching, or when most of us were watching the Letitia Stout situation, I mean, you know, they at least had webcams that we could like see a little bit of something. But within this one, okay, within this one, this has all been audio. So now they are finally officially going to let us see inside the courtroom and maybe see how she's going to react to all of this. Okay. Now I'm going to be, you know, putting up this here, because obviously people are starting to file in, people are starting to come in and all that, getting ready to get this verdict heard. Okay. And of course, we all have our personal opinions about this. I think the general consensus, I think popular opinion, the court of public opinion, is she guilty. She guilty as hell. Okay. She did that. Okay. She did that. All right. So we're going to find out if she did that. Okay. So we will be hopping over here to take a listen to Law and Crime and hearing what they have to say. Okay. But let me just say real quick. Oh, hold on, guys. Oh, that's cool. Well, Debbie, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Okay. And that's the other question I have too, Nini Panini. And I wish I had a lawyer, you know, an esquire, whatever you want to call it, that was able to come onto the show and explain some of that as well. Why was the DP, okay, why was the extreme penalty taken off the table? I'm wondering that as well. Oh, it's a renewal? Well, Debbie, I appreciate you renewing no matter what. But that is a question I'd like to know as well. Okay. Cruise with Cindy. Thank you so much for the 10. Even though this is a tragic case and a crazy case, I'm just happy that you're covering the Lori Vallow verdict live. By the way, I will never think of the word storm the same way, the same again. I agree with you too. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Halle Berry, though. Halle Berry. Storm. Yeah, I can't do that anymore now. Now I'm just thinking of Chad and the storm. Yeah, not the quiet storm either. Not the quiet storm. Okay. So, but again, thank you, Cindy. Wow, I can't talk today. Thank you, Cindy, for that $10 super chat. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And everybody, thank you so much. Thank you. But as you guys know, there's a lot that is going on, that has gone on with this particular case, in this particular trial. There's a lot of information that we learned Okay. They were calling her the zombie killer and all that. Okay. All because of her. They were trying to basically, make claims that this was a religious belief, that these were because of her religious beliefs. This is the reason why she did these things. Of course, they said this has nothing. Of course, they proved otherwise. Okay. The prosecution has proven otherwise. Let's just keep it real. Okay. But no matter what, it is a very, very interesting and wild trial that has gone on, it has transpired throughout this whole thing. Okay. So I'm going to share a few things with you guys before we jump into watching this, because we still got 15 minutes or so before they're allegedly going to make the announcement. I'm thinking it's going to be another 30 minutes before they actually make the announcement, but I could be wrong. So I'll just say this, just stick around. Don't run off, okay? And think, oh yeah, it's going to, he's right. I'll just come back in 30 minutes. It's weird. Courts can sit here and go, yep, we're right on time. Let's knock it out. Sometimes they make you wait 30 more minutes, because they're wanting family and whatnot there. But the funny thing is that family has been there. In fact, let me show you guys that. I thought this was very a sweet moment, in my personal opinion, that Brian Enton showed on his Twitter. So let me show this to you guys real quick. And I thought it was very sweet, just showing Grandpa showing up, being a part of this, getting ready for the verdict today.
Today is day 2 of deliberation. I think that we'll have a verdict today. I was a bit disappointed we didn't have a verdict yesterday. We understand it. If we don't get a verdict today, hopefully we'll get one tomorrow. But we know we'll get a just verdict, a righteous verdict. And that's all we have ever asked for in this. So thank y'all once again. I'll take a question or two if you got one.
How are you feeling?
I feel wonderful. I do. Got up this morning listening to Willie. How can you start to have a bad day? Waking up, listening to Willie. That is JJ and I song. We sang that. And if everybody will remember, look back at the bus when I walked on and JJ was playing the microphone.
Of course, I got to kind of go in and out of this because of the song that's playing. Okay. But you could see, this is, he's in a joyous mood because he's getting justice. Okay. He's getting what they've been wanting for a long time now is justice, some closure on this. And of course, getting justice for his grandson. And I think that there's been so many details being said recently, because there have been reports, since there aren't real live cameras showing the reaction of everybody. Reporters that have been inside the trial, inside the courtroom, have done in a remarkable job of just going into detail about what everybody, specific key players in this trial, how they're reacting and all that. One of them, they were saying when they were doing the closing arguments that Grandpa was really affected. He was very emotional, wiping tears out of his eyes, that kind of thing, looking physically weak when they were talking about things. But now we see a completely different person from the description that we heard, right? Now he's ready. He's prepared. He's ready. He's remembering his grandson. He's remembering the wonderful moments that he's had. And he's ready to get justice. Now, I hope to God they get justice. I really do. Because this is a terrifying thing. This is a terrible, terrifying thing. Okay? Because you never know. But I will say this, though, too. How quickly, the fact that they were able to come up with their verdict this quickly, in my personal opinion, this is quick. this shows to me that, yeah, there may have been a little bit of pushback on some elements of these charges, but I think they all agree unanimously that this woman is a monster and she is guilty of doing what she's done. Let me play a little bit more.
That was the song we sang together. And it may have been one of the, no, it wasn't the last song. We sang other songs. That's the one you remember the most, though.
Larry, how do you keep such a positive attitude, Larry?
Thank you, sir.
How do you keep such a positive attitude, sir, about this whole thing?
Why do you not want to have a positive attitude? Look at it. It's gorgeous.
He is in a great mood. Okay. Let's just keep it real. Okay. No arguments here. I'm praying for him. You know what I mean? I'm praying for the entire family because what happened here is I still can't believe this happened. Okay. And I'm, of course, you know, she was the level of how monstrous this woman was, how monstrous those two were. Let's not forget she was, you know, working with another guy. Okay. Plotting all this stuff, putting all this stuff together, making this thing happen. As soon as these kids were discarded in the way that they were, she was looking up. She was shopping for a wedding gown for her trip to Hawaii. You know, she was planning a completely different life, separate. Okay? Completely separate from the life that she had with those two kids. It's dangerous. This is a dangerous human being. So I'm happy that he's happy. That, you know, that Larry is getting some peace for himself and hopefully for the rest of the family as well, you know. But let's continue on. Let me see what they're saying right now as far as what they're saying on Law and Crime real quick. Let's check this out for a hot minute.
Of the reaction on both sides.
Well, I have been speaking with the defense investigator quite a bit. If he comes out, I'm going to try and grab him and go on camera. I do think Larry and Kay might come out and say something, and then we may hear a statement on behalf of the prosecution. And there's a lot of the investigators are out here. The problem is I have approached a couple of them, and the ones that I have talked to said, we can't talk because we still have Chad's case coming up. So anything on the prosecution side, they're being tight-lipped because of that. And the defense attorneys, just in general, their personalities, they don't want to be on camera. They don't want anything to do with it. And that's what I've heard through the grapevine for people that have worked with them. Like, that's just not something they do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when this comes down here in a few minutes and everybody starts piling out.
Yeah. Were you surprised the defense effort was basically cross-examination of the prosecution witnesses? There really was not a defense case.
I was not surprised, and I'll tell you why. I have heard all along that she was not cooperating. She does not want to throw Chad under. She does not want to throw Alex under. And she wouldn't let them do any kind of mental health defense at all. And I think they did what they could have done. And then in their closing argument is when Archibald came out with kind of a brainwashing theory without using the word brainwashing. And Lori was very tense during all that. I don't think she knew what he was going to say in closing. And she was pursed lipped and did not move a muscle. During prosecution closing, she was animated. She was shaking her head. She was taking notes and showing it to her attorney. But during her attorneys, she was just stiff and looking forward. And I think she was upset that basically he was telling the jury that Lori is stupid and gullible, and Chad was able to do all of this. And the interesting thing that I thought about that is maybe 6 people they got following them, right? If you think of Melanie, Zulema, Audrey, Alex, they're all Lori's people. And the funny thing is, Archibald said, you know, Chad made Lori feel like a goddess and like she was going to be this leader of 144,000. She couldn't even get one follower. Chad had 6 followers. And that's how he presented that whole closing argument. It was very interesting to me. Like, she's just a sap over here. And then he brought up other religious cults and cult leaders, and people drink the Kool-Aid and kill themselves, and this just happens. It doesn't make sense to a lot of us, but it does happen. I thought he did honestly the best he could do with this case, but I don't think she was happy with him.
Yeah, that's great insight as to how she was interpreting how her case was being presented or not presented or didn't care. Let me ask Ann-Jeanette, you've been watching this, Ann-Jeanette, and we saw that the defense case was really a non-case, cross-examine the prosecution witnesses, and that's fine. We see that happen. But if you can't get the cooperation of your client, as Kathy is suggesting, what are you going to do?
Yeah, there's not much you can do, Michael. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. What do you do as a defense attorney if your client says, no, don't throw my brother under the bus. No, don't throw my husband under the bus. You don't believe you're mentally ill, but you are clearly mentally ill. We know there were competency issues at the beginning of this case, and there is something going on with her mentally. So there's not much they can do. And I'm actually surprised, since the fact that they talked about these cults and closings was brought up, cult leaders. You heard Kathy referring to this. I actually interviewed, Michael, recently 2 people who were kind of sucked into cults when they were younger, and now they're experts in this. One was brought into an offshoot of Mormonism, extreme Mormonism, and she said she got out. Another guy had joined the Moonies in the 60s. He got out. And they said, you can be manipulated and really drawn into these things. And it's surprising to me because the woman that I interviewed, Dr. Christine Marie, said she believed that Lori had been, from what she had seen, kind of indoctrinated into this. It's shocking to me that they didn't call somebody, an expert in cults, to testify about this, because Chad Daybell obviously had a hold over her. I think we can see that quite clearly. Yeah, I'm just hearing from inside the courtroom there. People are gathering, Ann-Jeanette.
Okay.
And we could get the verdict in as little as 5 minutes. Kathy,
5
do you hear
minutes.
anything different there on the ground there? Does it look like this thing is kind of coming to a head?
People here. Well, there's maybe 25 people out here gathering now, spectators. They're starting
People
to
getting
walk
ready.
up more and more, and they're taking their own video with their phones. So I think as it's getting closer, we're seeing more people show up. They can't get into the courtroom, so they're likely just going to stay out here.
Yeah, and they'll wait, and when you announce it to them, then they'll know. Rich, let me ask you this. Rich Jones-Stein's here. All of the buildup to this, I'm still focusing on these defense arguments that seem to waffle between, Lori Vallow Daybell is too dumb, and she was a follower, or Lori Vallow Daybell was the genius who was taking Chad's lead, but then pursuing it in her own way. Well, which one was she? Was she the dummy, or was she the genius?
And that is the core problem with the defense's argument on closing. And I totally agree with Ann-Jeanette and Kathy that the guy's hands were tied. He didn't have a lot of places he could go. But on the one hand, he's saying Chad is some mastermind that brainwashed Lori. And on the other hand, he's saying Chad was an idiot who couldn't sell any books and couldn't make more than $20,000 a year and couldn't get any followers. So his own argument doesn't hold together. And that's why I think ultimately it wasn't very persuasive.
Kathy, Catherine, let me get your input on this as we're waiting these last few minutes. Again, the verdict in the Lori Vallow Daybell case to be read live. We'll have it for you here in just a few minutes. They're getting final preparations done in the courtroom. Catherine, what are your thoughts on that kind of difficult defense position?
Yes, well, there is that ethical obligation of the lawyers as to following what their clients' wishes are. And it's such a great insight what Kathy just told us, how Lori's lips were pursed when her defense attorney was delivering the closing, with the jury watching her every move. If that's the reaction she had, I'm sure they were able to read in somehow that she was not happy with that closing and did not agree with her defense attorney. I could see her just having that look of disagreement and disapproval with that closing statement. And to reply to your question to Rich, I think whether or not she was brainwashed or whether or not she was the mastermind here is a distinction not that doesn't make that much of a difference, because at the end of the day, she was part of all of this, and there are overwhelming evidence that she conspired and committed those murders. Maybe she didn't do the shooting or the actual killing, but she was part of it.
Yeah, I
No
really
doubt.
was surprised.
Real quick, guys, do me a favor. We're going to continue listening because allegedly in about less than 2 minutes from now, we should be getting the verdict, or they should be popping into the courtroom with the verdict to announce the verdict. But yeah, seconds away now, allegedly. Okay. But please, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Whoops, wrong button. Hit the wrong button. Hit the like button down below, please, and thank you. And please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. So if you're watching the show for the very first time, welcome to the show. I talk about all kinds of things. Okay. We are seconds away from the verdict. All right. I'm looking forward to it. I think we all are. Okay. And so please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. All right. And real quick before it disappears, thank you, Danielle, for becoming a member. Guys, if you are interested in supporting the channel, please, by all means, hit that join button down below. Become a member. That'd be greatly appreciated. Let's rock and roll, guys.
Remember, after she's arrested and then sometime later, she's found incompetent for 10 months. To be incompetent for 10 months, she had some kind of break. So I don't know. So maybe then all of a sudden she's realizing it, and that causes a break, and they get her medicated properly, and then she's competent again. I mean, there's something definitely going on in Lori's head that I don't necessarily think is in Chad's head. I don't think he has mental health issues. I think Lori has some. Now, that doesn't legally excuse her for being a part of killing her children. But there is something going on in that head of hers for sure.
That's an interesting point. Let me ask you this, Rich. Competency to stand trial, we know, has nothing to do with sanity, and it's not a defense in any way. But do you think if there is a conviction here that an appellate ground could be that she truly was still incompetent and should not have stood trial in any way?
Well, I mean, sure, they may take that on appeal, but I don't think it would win. Competency to stand trial really depends on her ability to be an active participant in the trial. And you could even see, just observing this trial, that she was talking to her attorneys. She was following what was going on. She was paying attention. It looked like she was an active participant. Whether or not she agreed with her attorneys about how to defend the case is irrelevant to that. She was competent to be a part of her defense, and I don't see that being overturned on appeal at all.
Yeah, and as we know, if she's able to understand the charges against her and, as you say, participate in her defense, that's good enough. It is curious to me that after 10 months, that changed. So I am very curious to see, well, what was it that changed the position that she was competent when for 10 months she was not? Hey, and Jeanette, you've seen this case and cases like it, and client control is so important. And it sounds like Lori Vallow Daybell's team didn't have much control over her. So even if they tried to convince her that, hey, here's the best way to defend you, it's to point at Alex, it's to point at Chad, she seemed to have better control over her attorneys than the attorneys had over the client.
It really makes you wonder what she's able to do with people in her interactions to exert such control. Of course, they are working for her, but her defense was provided. These are taxpayer-funded public defenders that are being provided for her. So if she's not cooperating, there is only so much they can do. And you're right. You talk to any attorney who has defended clients in cases, especially high-profile criminal cases, about client control, it is essential. And you have to sit your client down in the very beginning and say, look, you are in trouble. It's very deep trouble, and you have to trust us. And we need to defend you to the best of our ability. And if she's thinking, you know what, I'm not hanging out with you guys, I'm not participating in this, there is only so much a defense attorney can do. Still, though, I'm shocked that there wasn't some effort on their part to call some type of expert in this. And maybe they would have been shredded on cross-examination, but still, it would have been at least something that they could have been put up. Maybe she just said, you know what, I don't really want you guys to do much. But then again, they are obligated. They have ethical, moral, kind of ethical obligations.
Real quick, I am trying to find. There's one thing I'm trying to find here, because there's a way to get the live, like webcam, thizzy thing, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, because I was hoping that they would be showing it inside, like showing the inside of this here, right? So I'm trying to find the actual thing. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm going to let this play.
If Lori Vallow Daybell is indeed found guilty on these charges, when we hear this verdict coming up here very shortly, you have to wonder whether or not he will be willing to plead to take death off the table. It's a very real possibility. I had heard some rumblings about some type of concession or some type of deal that had been offered to Chad, whereby the death penalty would be taken off the table and he would serve essentially the rest of his life and then some.
Thank you, Ruthless.
Whether or not that is indeed the case, I don't know, but it's certainly a possibility if she is convicted, because.
Okay, so real quick, I do want to show you guys. I do have the feed. Okay, let me just pull this up for you guys so you guys can see it. Proof positive that we are kind of waiting on the sidelines for the for them to get started with this information. And so far, bang, there it is. Okay, shout out to Court TV. There is nothing so far. They haven't said anything yet. Let me unmute this. So nothing so far. They say it will start at 2:45. Okay, it's 12:45. I'm sorry, Mountain Time, if I'm correct, and that is an hour. There's an hour difference between them and me. So, like I told you, I didn't think that they were going to start on time. So we're waiting patiently. Hopefully, this happens before. Hopefully, they make the announcement before my scheduled interview with Crystal at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Crystal Strong. Hopefully they get this thing figured out. But we are waiting for this to start popping off. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure you guys know that, because I know that Law and Crime is on the outskirts. They're sitting waiting for all this to go and get on and popping as well. But we haven't heard anything as of yet. Okay, we're still waiting patiently to see if there's any information and if they're going to start doing this verdict very, very soon. Hold on, guys. So I'm kind of watching both all at the same time in hopes that we get an answer with something. Okay? Just so you guys know. But we are waiting, patiently waiting. All right? Yeah. So you guys are, it's an hour behind me, because it's 1:52 right now. But let me just show you guys this so you guys have something. And I'm just constantly going back to see if there's any updates. But right now, they haven't done a doggone thing.
Audio only and on a delayed basis.
So what the court spokesperson, we had a meeting with the court spokesperson way before trial ever began, media meeting to talk about this and how it would work. And we asked, why can't we at least bring the audio in live? And he said, because the judge is worried about sidebars or anything else getting picked up. That's the only explanation we got.
So did you?
So, because it's his own feed and his own audio and it wasn't us, I don't know. Because when we do get the audio at the end of every day, all of those are cut out. So he'll say, "Can you approach the bench?" And then immediately we're back on the record again. So that is all cut out by the time we get the audio.
Boy,
I think he's just
little paranoid.
Super paranoid. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you
that's
let
what I
him know
think.
that I wasn't happy about this? I was very concerned about it. But, apparently that didn't.
We tried everything.
Okay.
We even appealed like the day before trial, and then media center request to have closing arguments live streamed. He denied that, but I think that was the catalyst to him allowing the verdict, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't give up.
Well, good for you guys. I mean, it's a morsel, it's a nugget, but you know, it's something, and there will be a real release. I'll put it when we get to see that live, the culmination of this 5 weeks. Rich Schoenstein is glaring at me, which means he always has a brilliant point to make.
Okay.
So I'm going to let him make that. Rich.
I just want one final chance to rant about this no cameras in the courtroom thing. It's absurd. I can't figure out why they wouldn't even show closing arguments. You know, even if you said, well, we don't want the witnesses to be on camera, they could have live streamed closing arguments. But again, letting cameras in the courtroom, letting everybody see the proceedings, that is a good thing. That increases public acceptance of the court proceedings. That decreases challenges. We see a lot now with people challenging the fairness of court proceedings when there are outcomes they don't like. It's better for those proceedings to be open and subject to the public eye so we can all see them. I don't get it.
I agree.
Can I join in on that rant?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many high-profile cases that we've covered here at Law and Crime, and frankly, that I even covered before I joined this company. And I think that you always, if a camera is in the courtroom, there are measures that can be taken to do this in a way in which the defendant's rights to a fair trial are protected, even with the judge's decision to bar the cameras, which I certainly didn't agree with. I thought he could have barred them for the pretrial hearings, and then once the trial was underway, allowed cameras in then. We saw in the Derek Chauvin trial in Minnesota, if you'll recall, in Minnesota, they don't allow cameras in the courtroom. But for that trial, it was such a big deal and it was being watched. There was interest around the world in that trial. They took measures where you could only, have the camera so close, only such a wide or tight shot of Derek Chauvin during the trial. And that was a trial that took place in a very politically charged atmosphere in an election year with something horrific that was captured on camera. So there are ways to do these things in which a defendant's rights are protected, and yet there's still a camera in the courtroom. It can be done. Why Judge Boyce felt this was necessary and why he didn't change his mind, I'd really like to know at some point. And even with the audio stream, he could have put that on a delay, or they could have done something to, clip the mic during the sidebar while it was still being transcribed. So I think there were ways in which the public could have had greater access to this case.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're getting better.
Let me get a couple comments here real quick while we wait. Okay. Thank you so much for the I don't know, the compliment. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm very excited about it. Okay. I don't know what's taking so long. Apparently, Brian Enton is saying he just tweeted something along the lines of soon waiting on Judge and Lori. So maybe this is all going down. So it looks like they are starting to file in. Let's take a look at this.
Vallow Daybell. You can see she's there, as are lots of other bodies, but nobody in a robe, nobody on the bench. They deliberated, folks, if you're just joining us, for 6 hours, 51 minutes to decide whether or not Lori Vallow Daybell is guilty of the murders and or conspiracy to murder JJ, Tylee, and Tammy Daybell. There was also some grand theft issues involved.
Let me get this going, guys. Hold on. I'm switching over. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. I'm switching over. I got the other one ready to go. Let's get it popping. Oh, that's a lie. Okay, there we go. It's all jacked up, though. What the hell? All right, I'm going back over because that's trash.
predicting a clean sweep. I don't think there's enough here to sort of distinguish the murder charges from the conspiracy charges. And I agree with Kathy when she says 7 hours is not really that long a deliberation for a case like this that went on for weeks and has 7 different counts that they have to go through as a jury. And they had a break in between to go home last night just to get in and out of a room and poll each other and talk about basic things.
I'm fixing this, guys.
Time. So I think, that the length of the deliberation suggests to me it's going to be a clean.
Bye. Let me fix this, guys. Sorry. There we go. Much better. All right. There we go.
Thank you. Please be
There
seated.
we go. Enjoy. Enjoy, guys. Let's rock and roll. Enjoy. Here we go.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are going on the record. Court reporter, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. This is case CR 22-21-1624, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Is here represented by Mr. Wood, Ms. Blake, and Ms. Smith. The defense, Mr. Archibald, Mr. Thomas are present, as well as the defendant who is present. The court's been advised that the jury has reached a verdict at this time. Is the state ready to proceed?
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let's have the jurors brought in, please.
Let's go. Guilty.
While the jurors are being brought in, I'd like to indicate that this matter is being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel. In addition, the court's existing conduct order is in effect, and everyone needs to comply with that conduct order. This verdict has several counts. The court is going to require that all in attendance abstain from any sort of loud outbursts or sounds that could in any way affect the proceedings in this matter, as the counts are read in the verdict. And I expect to maintain order and decorum, as has been the case throughout this trial, with those in attendance. So please keep that in mind once we get to this stage of these proceedings. So with that in mind, if the jurors are ready, they can be seated.
All right, please.
I mean, obviously, it's guilty. Let's keep it real. We ain't that surprised.
Jury's all present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bailiff. Please be seated. All right, the court will note that we had alternate jurors that were excused upon deliberations. So now the remaining 12 jurors who have deliberated are here and appear to all be properly seated. Will counsel stipulate that the jury is all present and properly seated from the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will the
Let
defense
go.
will stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, the court will inquire then from the jury. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah.
Very well. If you have the verdict form, I'd ask the bailiff bring that over here and we'll have it brought to the clerk to be read.
Yeah, I would do that too. Just stop everything right now. Don't eat, don't drink, don't do nothing.
All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form, find that it's been properly completed, signed and dated. So at this time, I'll direct the clerk to please read the verdict into the record. defendant would please rise.
Guilty on all counts. Let's go.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, defendant, case number CR 22211624. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 2.
Boom.
In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Answer, guilty.
2.
Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty.
3.
Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
All right, please be seated. Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict into the record. At this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact your true and correct verdict?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the jury will be polled at this time.
Indeed.
Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers of each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10,
Yes.
is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true and correct verdict?
Let's go.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court does find it's a unanimous verdict in this case, so I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record of this case. I'll now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also those alternate jurors that are in attendance today. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you want to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone at all. If you choose to talk to someone about the case, you may tell them as much or little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If you decide to discuss the case with anyone, you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors. You should limit your comments to your own perceptions and feelings. If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objections or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report that to me. At this time, then, the court offers its sincere thanks to the jurors. I appreciate your patience and attentiveness throughout this lengthy trial. I also thank you again for upholding your important civic duty as jurors in this case. I'd also like to thank the attorneys who tried this case for your professionalism throughout the proceedings and in the pretrial motions that came before trial. At this time, then, the court will discuss briefly sentencing in this case. In Idaho, pursuant to Title 19, Chapter 25, a report is required to be prepared before sentencing called a pre-sentence investigation report. In a typical case, that report takes at least 2 months to prepare. In a case such as this, it will likely take longer. The court will inquire as to a pre-sentence investigator for the time frame required to prepare the report in this case. Upon getting an estimation, then the court will reach out to counsel for determining a date for sentencing. I'll just advise everyone that will likely be, I'm thinking, at least 3 months probably before that sentencing will be scheduled to have the report completed.
Damn. 3 months?
The court will also advise at this time then, upon conclusion of the proceedings, the defendant will be remanded back to custody of the Ada County Sheriff at this time to be transferred to the Fremont County Sheriff for further proceedings in Fremont County for sentencing. The court will also instruct the clerk to collect any of the jurors' notes pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 24.1A. At this time, then, the court will ask that the jurors and any alternates in attendance be excused from the courtroom. And I am going to direct that all in attendance here remain seated until such time as the jurors have been completely exited from the courtroom. And in addition, I'll let the jurors know there is additional information you'll be receiving through the court administration offices on your way out as you leave today. So again, thank you for your service. Court will be adjourned. And Mr. Bailiff, if you could have all rise for the jury.
All rise, please.
Wait, man. Guilty. And on all them counts. Guilty on all them counts. Guilty. Woo. Feels good. Feels good. Yes.
All right. Thank you, counsel. Thank you, everyone, for your decorum this afternoon. Court is adjourned.
Bye. Bye, Lori. Enjoy prison.
Judge, when would you like me to open the doors for?
Enjoy that prison. Enjoy that prison. Cause it's a wrap, son. That be a wrap, son. It's over now. She gone. She gone. But the thing is that Chad still got some things to take care of too. We still got Chad coming up. Okay. And the question is, before we officially like wrap up, I mean, you know, I'm going to see if they're going to say anything. If they're going to say anything, hold on. If they're going to say anything on the way out, you know, I might stick around for that, but I still got another show in less than an hour to prepare for. But because, you know, I want to give you guys the conversations. All right. But I might show a little bit of this if they actually come out and say, because what else is new? They're going to be like, it's a triumphant day. You know, prosecutors are going to be like, oh, we're very happy about want to say thank you to the team that I have. And we buried this mother lover. You know what I mean? I don't know why it sounded kind of like a light. What I just said sounded like a light Obama, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Just very, you know, congratulatory, you know, the whole Oscar winning thing, like thanks to my team and all that. You like me. You really, really like me. Without our team, we wouldn't be able to do that and this, that, and the third. You know the story. You know the deal. Okay. As they're trying to figure out their lives here, and gotta love cargo pants. Cargo pants. Yeah. As they try to figure that out. Okay. Hey, we got some great news. We got the verdict. It's official. Okay. She has been guilty on all counts, which, by the way, are we really surprised? I mean, I'm not. Justice was served today. Justice prevailed today. Half of the justice prevailed today. Now we got Chad. Now we got to worry about Chad. Chad still got to go see his day in court. And that's the thing I was going to say. It depends on what they're going to say. It really depends on what Chad is going to do moving forward, because he could use this opportunity to try to dodge this ish, try to put all the blame on Lori. They ain't going to be together ever again. So would he really, do anything for love? Is he going to really do that? Or is he going to do everything he can to save his own tuchus so he can get a lesser sentence, a lesser charge, a lesser sentence? I'm just saying, think about that for a second. Okay? Anything is possible. But now that she's been found guilty on all counts, he's looking at something that's not going to be pretty. Okay? It's not going to be pretty. I will say that. And I think he's about to get grimy. So we'll see what happens from here on. Okay? But we have the verdict. Some great news, guys. Some great mother-loving news. Lori Vallow Daybell has been found guilty on all counts. Here's the other thing, too. They will not be doing her sentencing for 3 months. He said up to about 3 months. So she's going to be locked away for a little while. Then she's going to be brought back out, and he's going to make that decision on what kind of sentence she's getting. But hey, let's be real. She's going to be spending the rest of her days behind prison. The rest of her natural life is going to be spent behind bars. So he's like, hey, she can wait 3 months. Nothing's going to change. She's been found guilty. So, hey, justice was served today. I'm happy about that. Okay? Happy about that. But, guys, I'm back on in about 45 minutes from now. At 3 p.m., I have an exclusive interview with Crystal Strong. She is one of the survivors. Okay? She was one of the people that is a survivor from this monster, Jesse McFadden. Okay? She is the reason why he was in prison for almost 20 years. She has a lot to say about what's happened. She is coming on to clarify some of the questions that people have had over her previous interview that she had on Ashley Banfield. She's coming on, and we are doing that exclusive in less than 45 minutes from now. So please be sure to tune in. It's going to be one hell of a conversation. And I could use the help getting the eyeballs on this conversation. Okay? So anyway, I'll be seeing you guys then. All right? So hit that like button. Crush it. Make it scream out your name. And please do not forget to crush that subscribe button as well. All right? Hit that notification bell after you hit that subscribe button. Set it to all so that you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random a lot of times. So please do that for me. Okay? That would be greatly appreciated. I will see you guys in less than 45 minutes with the exclusive interview with Crystal Strong. Okay? She's got a lot to say about Jesse McFadden and all the things that were going on inside that house in Henrietta, Oklahoma. And we've been covering it, so don't miss out. All right? See you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. See you guys in less than 45 minutes. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.